Hi, I'm having some fun today as Miss Frizzle. And as you know, Miss Frizzle loves science. And I have the book, The Magic School Bus Plants Seeds here today. And I just have some ways of hopefully planting some seeds within you to want to explore plants a little bit more after watching this video. So Liz and I have all kinds of little experiments and things for you to think about, things for you to try, things for you to maybe experiment with. So let me start with celery. So I took some celery, and you can see that they're definitely two totally different colors here. And so all you have to do is take some celery, and then you would take some food coloring, and you can put that in the water that you dip your celery stalks into. Now, after just a matter of an hour, you'll notice a difference. This has been soaking for a couple of hours, but you can see this one has the blue dye in it, and it's turning the leaves blue. And this one has red dye, and the leaves look kind of pinkish red. And so what happened here is, just like our blood flows through our veins, there's a circulatory system in a plant. Isn't that crazy? So it's kind of like a straw. It drinks up the water. And so since this water is dyed, the color comes up with it as it drinks it up. Isn't that cool? The next thing I want to show you is some of the different kinds of ways that plants change. So I'm sure you've all seen in your yard dandelions. And so you see the yellow dandelion here. And you also see something that looks like this. And these are actually the same plant. But this one is what it looks like when it first blooms or opens. And then it goes to seed. These are the dandelion seeds. They're almost like these little parachutes. And as the wind blows, it blows them all over, and those seeds plant. And then we see a whole bunch more of the yellow dandelions. So that's pretty cool. There are also different kinds of plants. Like this is a succulent. It belongs, like the cacti are in the succulent family. Succulent means juicy and tender, and so the leaves are pretty thick and they hold water for a longer time so they can stand being in a drier environment. There are also kinds of things that you probably haven't even thought of that are seeds that you eat, like for instance, walnuts, buckeyes. These are seeds, so they're nuts, but they also are the seed for the tree that grew them in the first place. And there are seeds that you probably eat quite a bit that you didn't even realize were seeds, didn't really think about it. Like, for example, corn. So when you eat corn, you are eating a seed. When you're eating sunflower seeds, of course it's in the name, so you know it's a seed, but those are a kind of seed. And if you plant that, you're going to get more sunflower plants. Another thing that you may not have thought about that is a plant is cotton. And so I wanted to show you what this looks like when a cotton seed grows into a plant. And then it has actually a little white flower first. And then as the flower is pollinated, it turns pink. And then it closes up into this little ball. And then when it opens up, it has all of this nice white fiber that we use for cotton balls. Isn't that cool? You guys can look up more about this I found this website where I did my research when I was wanting to learn more about cotton. It's called 100%. And so it's 100%.com. And I don't know who that person is. I just thought it was very interesting. And she calls it 100% because, a lot of our shirts are 100% cotton. So you could learn more about cotton seeds and about the cotton plant. And she has a really nice video on there that explains the whole stages of life of the cotton plant. Now, if you're wanting to learn more about like the plants themselves and the different parts of them. So we've got stigmas and anthers and stems and leaves and blossoms and all of these things. Then you can research more about that. You could also plant your own seeds, and that would allow you to see some of the parts as they're growing. So all I did is I had some pinto beans, and you can take lima beans, you can take whatever kind of bean you want, but I find that beans seem to work really well to be able to see the process, but you can take a wet paper towel and you can put some of those beans in there and close it up. And you don't want it super wet. You just want it, wet down the paper towel, wring it out, and then put your seeds inside. And then you can put it in this bag. I'm not gonna zip it up. I just wanna keep it a little bit more moist by having it in the plastic. And after a couple of days, if you look in here, depending on your kind of seed, it might take a little bit longer. You'll be able to open that up. You'll see that, first of all, the seed has gotten bigger because it's absorbed some of that water, but you'll also notice that it's going to start to make this little sprout that'll be sticking out of the side of the seed when it breaks through the seed coat. So that's really exciting, because then you can take it from there and you can plant it in a cup or a little flower pot, and then you can watch it grow into its own little pinto bean plant or lima bean plant or whatever. If you want to see something that grows pretty quickly, you could just take some grass seeds and put them in a cup, and it's kind of fun. You can make a little face on the top of the cup and the grass seed can be its hair. Lots of fun. You know, another plant that we have in our yards that is huge are trees. And so I have a couple of, these are called tree cookies, when you have a tree that's been cut and you get to see the cross section of it. So something you could learn more about with trees, which are plants, is you could figure out how old they are. So you can count the number of dark rings, because as they grow in their summer season and their spring season, they grow another woody layer. And so if you count just the dark rings, you can determine how old that tree was. So maybe if there's a stump somewhere, you could go over to it and you could look down and you could count the rings. And you can also find all kinds of cool things about that tree's life. For example, if there was a fire that it lived through, you will notice a difference in that year that the fire happened. There are all kinds of things that you can study and look up about that too. So I hope that I have planted some seeds in your brains to want to learn a little bit more about plants, about seeds, about trees. It's really exciting and interesting to do. So grab your celery if you have some, and some water and some food coloring. See if you can see the water get to go up through with the dyed coloring, and maybe plant some seeds and see what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.